Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Lee County School Board meeting. And we are the Trafalgar Elementary School Choir. We're very pleased to be here to sing for you. And our theme this year was superheroes. So we want you all to know that for superheroes, it starts with us. We like to do themes at our school, so every year we have a new theme. This year our theme was superheroes, and we discovered that we could all be heroes.
Streets got the power. They don't see it cause they don't understand. Spin around and around for hours. You and me, we got the world in our hands.
Everyday people do everyday things that I can't be one of them. I know you hear me now, we are a different kind. We can do anything. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be. Love and a little light, love and a little light. We could be all we're looking for is love and a little light, love and a little light. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be.
Normally, when we're on stage, they're a little livelier. I think they're a little intimidated by the school board office, but this ought to loosen them up. We're going to do character tango, and I believe I need some dancers out front. Okay, this is the character tango.
My character, I am responsible. I got integrity. I show respect. I am compassionate. I give my very best. Oh yes, my character is intact. Honor, true sincerity, generosity, trustworthiness and fairness are what you'll see in me. My character, I am responsible. I got integrity, I show respect. I am compassionate. I give my very best. Oh yes, my character is intact.
I am so proud of them. They've done such a wonderful job this year. We've gone out and performed throughout the community. We performed for our school. And one of the things we've done is we're becoming a Leader in Me school. And if you haven't heard of it, it's something you really ought to look into. It's fantastic. You know, back when they had the 7 habits of highly effective people, and they would take business people in their 30s and 40s and teach them how to do all these great things. Well, we're teaching them to them now, so they don't have to wait till they're in their 30s or 40s. And they're doing an absolute fantastic job. This song is called We Can Have It All. Thank you so much. That is the end of this portion of our concert. We will be singing one more song, so could we all come to attention? Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are now ready to begin this evening's board meeting. The time is 6:05 p.m. and the school board meeting of May 17, 2016 is now called to order. At this time, we request all electronic devices be turned off or put into the silent mode. We also ask that you please refrain from using flash photography except for the special presentation period of this meeting. We'd like to take this time to take this opportunity to remind the members of the public of the district's mission, which is to ensure that each student achieves his or her highest personal potential. And the district's vision is to be a world-class school system. Prior to the start of this evening's board meeting, we had been enjoying the Trafalgar Elementary Choir under the direction of Janice Holycross. This choir is composed of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders who meet after school to prepare 2 programs. They have performed throughout the community, and this year we're pleased to share their holiday programs with residents of the Windsor Assisted Living Facility. They have performed their spring program at Trafalgar's Academic Fair and Leadership Night. The last song they will be singing this evening is Everyday Heroes. Thank you. At this time, we'll take a brief pause to clear the performance area. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to resume our May 17, 2016 board meeting. This evening's agenda includes the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance, 3 recognitions, public comment, consent action item, which includes 4 items under Executive Services, 1 item under Business and Finance, 5 items under Operations, and 3 items under Teaching and Learning. We have 8 superintendent recommendations, 1 of which is good cause. Dr. Atkins, would you please provide an explanation for your good cause?
Yes, sir. The reason for the good cause item is to establish leadership in our schools as quickly and as expeditiously as possible. So I'd ask that I be able to bring these 2 recommendations for principals forward.
Thank you, Dr. Atkins. As presiding officer, I find that there is good cause to add these items to the agenda. We have 1 item under the attorney's recommendations, and we have 4 items under other business. Board members, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Dozier, seconded by Ms. La Riviera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Before we begin the invocation, I'd like to introduce Kimberly Jean Joseph. She is our student representative from our student board, and we join us today on our school board meeting. At this point, we'll have Ms. Dozier deliver the invocation, directly which afterwards Ms. Fisher will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. After the special presentation portions that preside after the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll have a brief recess to allow the room to be cleared of the people that were receiving awards. This time, Mrs. Dozier.
Please stand and bow your heads. Dear God, we thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us all here. Thank you for each and every family that is represented here this evening. We appreciate the opportunity and the freedom that we have to gather here this evening for this school board meeting. We ask that you guide each and every person here in this room tonight, whether it be parents, students, members of the public, board members, the superintendent, as we speak this evening during public comment. Please let each of our presentations or all of our comments be respectful of others and ensure that all of our suggestions will benefit our students and our community. We ask that as the superintendent brings forth all of his recommendations, we ask that you guide him as he lays each one of these on the table tonight. Please guide each of us as a board and give us the wisdom to make the right decisions concerning all of the recommendations that he puts on the table. We pray that this meeting will be successful, productive, and blessed. For this, we give you the glory for all that we will accomplish during this meeting. Amen.
Amen.
Tonight, the cadet presenting the national colors will be introduced by First Sergeant Joe Bear of Lehigh Senior High School, JROTC program. First Sergeant Bear is in his 6th year with the school district. Sergeant.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national colors for our Pledge of Allegiance tonight are presented by Cadet Second Lieutenant Peter Surin of the Lightning Regiment. Peter is a junior at Lehigh Senior High School and is currently the commander of the exhibition drill team, as well as an active member of the regulation drill team and the color guard. Peter is also enrolled in the Cambridge program, and upon graduation plans to attend college to study nursing with the ultimate goal of becoming a nurse practitioner. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Superintendent, good evening. I would like to invite Miss Angela Mates, a teacher at South Fort Myers High School, to please join me here at the podium. Health Occupation Students of America, or HOSHA, Future Health Professionals, is an international student organization whose mission is to promote career opportunities in health care and to enhance the delivery of quality health care to all people. HOSHA provides a unique program of leadership development, motivation, and recognition exclusively for middle, secondary, post-secondary, and collegiate students enrolled in health science education programs. At the recent state competition, South Fort Myers had 2 gold medal winners, 2 silver medal winners, and 1 bronze medal winner. All of the medal winners will be representing the state of Florida in the HOSHA International Leadership Conference, which will be held in Nashville, Tennessee in June. The board members and the superintendent are very pleased to recognize and congratulate the following gold, silver, and bronze medal winners. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Mates if she would like to call the students forward to be recognized, and we would ask that you please hold your applause until all of the students have been brought up.
Good evening. It's with great honor that I recognize these 5 students who have put forward a large amount of effort and work into this. They competed both at the regional and state level already. The first student that I would like to recognize who placed first in healthy lifestyle, Dawson LaForce. This competition requires them to put together a healthy choice, a healthy lifestyle. They must put together a portfolio, take a test. They must be in the top 50% of the test scores, and then they advance to round 2, in which they go in front of the judges and present their portfolio. And Dawson took first place. right, the next student I would like to recognize is Shayla Konoski. She competed in a knowledge test of family medicine in which she had to study and prepare on the knowledge of diagnostics in healthcare, and she took first place in the state of Florida. The next student I would like to recognize is Miss Jacqueline Daly, who also competed in family medicine, and she took second place. All right, and the next person I would like to recognize is Miss Anna Francis. Anna competed in what we refer to as Courtesy Corps. They volunteer throughout the conference as patients, runners, timekeepers to help make sure the conference runs successfully. And she gave a total of 32 hours over a course of 3 days in service to our conference and took second place. And last and definitely, but not least, I would like to recognize Ms. Betsy Pavone, who took third place in clinical specialty. She had a lot of pre-work that she had to do. She chose a career that was not a competition event within HOSA. She followed the healthcare professional. She learned some skills, and then she had to tape herself doing the skills, and she competed by showing her portfolio and the skill in which she performed on a family member to the judges. We are very proud of these 5 students and all the students at South Fort Myers High School that competed. There was a total of 62 students that we took from South. They competed in 54 different events. And we are truly proud of their accomplishments.
I would like to invite Mr. Jason Sill, Supervisor of Video Production, and Mr. Kyle Gilbert, Video Editor, to please join me at the lectern. Recently, our Lee School's TV student interns submitted 11 entries for the 2016 Suncoast High School Television Awards for Excellence Emmys. These awards, let's call them what they are. These awards, presented to the National Academy Television Arts and Sciences, are open to the entire state of Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, and Puerto Rico. Today, I'm excited to share with you that our student interns were awarded 5 winners and 3 honorable mentions. The school district's student-produced news show, Current Lee, was recognized for the 5th consecutive year with an Emmy in directing. Out of 16 Emmys awarded this year, the Lee County School District won 5. The Lee Schools TV Student Intern Program has won 29 student Emmys since 2010. The school board and superintendent are pleased to recognize and congratulate this year's winners. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Sill to call the students forward to be recognized. Please hold your applause until all students have been announced.
Okay, starting off from Fort Myers High School, we have Trayvon Howard. From Mariner High School, Marissa Giambalvo. From North Fort Myers High School, Vince Marcucci. Also from North Fort Myers High School, Paige Reinhardt. North Fort Myers High School, Eric Martinez. And we have a special certificate for their supervisor really this year, and that's Mr. Kyle Gilbert.
School Board Superintendent, I just wanted to real quick just say these students here in front of you, these 5, are just an example of the skill and talent that we have in all of our schools across the district. You know, we brought home 5 Emmys this year, and hopefully next year we'll bring a few more back to Lee County.
I would like to invite Ms. Melissa Robery and Ms. Brandy Macchia, Directors of Curriculum and Staff Development, to please join me at the lectern. Each year, instructional employees and subject area groups select educators in their respective fields to represent them and be recognized as outstanding teachers. While the selection process varies for each group due to the diversity of their jobs, the results are the same. Each of the honorees has been selected by his or her peers for being an outstanding teacher. The school board and superintendent are pleased to recognize and congratulate this year's outstanding subject area teachers. As your name is called, please come forward and remain for the group photo. Please hold your applause until all of the recipients have been announced. Ms. Robery and Ms. Macchia, please step forward and announce this year's recipients.
We are proud this evening to be here to honor our 2015-16 Outstanding Subject Area Secondary Educators. Athletic Director, Tom Roselle, Riverdale High. Avid for middle school, Felicia Muzan, Okemik Middle. For high school, James Barrett, South Fort Myers High. Career and Technical Ed. For high school, Jeremy Jasper, Estero High. And for post-secondary, Marianne Inns, Cape Coral Technical College. In the area of drama, Michael Lynch, Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle. In driver's ed, David Smith, East Lee County High School. In English Language Arts, Heather Wibbles, Calusa Middle, and Alyssa Sheriff, Cypress Lake High. In the area of environmental ed, Amy McCarthy, Calusa Middle. And in ESOL, Colleen Canciani, East Lee County High. Exceptional student education. Dory Dunham, Buckingham Exceptional Center. And Stacy Swizer, Island Coast High. Gifted, Jason Laus, Three Oaks Middle. In health education, Brooke DiCarlo from Calusa Middle and Cheyenne Brown from Dunbar High. ROTC, JROTC, Willie Cutts, Lehigh Senior High. In mathematics, Sharon Grant, Calusa Middle, and Sarah Katine, Lee Virtual Instructional Program. Our outstanding media specialist, Charlene Martinez, Calusa Middle. In the area of music, Linda Mann, Diplomat Middle, and Zachary Dieter, Island Coast High. In physical education, Aaron Giss, Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle. Reading, middle school, Nicole Wolf, Calusa Middle, and Susan Barnes, Fort Myers High School. For school counselor, Rosa Skinner, Okamic Middle, and Meredith Berry, Lee Virtual Instruction Program. Science, Catherine Kay, Fort Myers Middle. And Stephen Wilkie, South Fort Myers High. Social studies, Paula Benning, Bonita Springs Middle Center for the Arts, and high school, Cassidy Lynch, North Fort Myers High. Speech pathologist, Heather Giordano, Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle. In world languages, Joanne Weiner, Lee Virtual Instruction Program. And Shelley Downey Consolo, Ida S. Baker High School. And in visual arts, Margaret Horn, Trafalgar Middle, and Scott Gulcher, Island Coast High School. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I know, but it doesn't work. Those are just all the notes.
Well, Kathleen has the other stuff.
At this time, we'll take a brief recess so everybody can exit the building. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now resuming the meeting of May 17, 2016. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Mr. Martin, would you please read the agenda item on public comment?
School board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on this meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. If you completed a card and submitted that to me before the meeting began, you'll be called in the order of the card submitted. If you did not submit a card but still wish to address the school board this evening, the school board chair, Mr. Toiber, will give you an opportunity in a moment to express that desire. The rules concerning public comment to the school board are posted at the back of the room. The school board does not respond during public comment time to remarks made by speakers. At the conclusion of public comment time, the school board chair may address concerns raised by speakers or may assign responsibility to the superintendent to do so. Speakers are expected to act in a respectful manner. Those who fail to do so after being warned by the meeting chair may be required to leave the meeting. Disruptive attacks on individuals are prohibited. Mr. Toiber, I have 5 cards this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. You had the opportunity before the meeting to fill out a blue card. If you did not take that opportunity, we'll now find out if you would still like to address the board by raising your hand. Please raise your hands. Okay, thank you. Would all the people on the right side please come to the right podium? All the people on the left to the left side of the podium, please. Form a line so you can address. I'd like to have your name and your name, please, and your top. And what are you going to address tonight? What is the agenda? What is the item?
Oh, the topic is homeless Lee County students.
Okay, thank you.
Anthony Thomas, diversity.
Thank you.
George Fox, finance.
I'm sorry, finance? Yeah. Thank you. Over here.
Dr. Judy Piesco.
And your topic?
My topic is several topics. One has to do with public information, and the other has to do with outsiders from the school district interfering in school board policy.
Please specify what topics for. Thank you.
Evan Riegel. I'm going to discuss the numerous emails I've sent to you that you have not responded back to. I'm going to discuss fraud within the school district. I'm going to discuss a litany of other subjects. Thank you, sir.
I'd like to have my address. You have to identify.
No, actually, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Under what statute, sir? You're a lawyer. Under what statute, sir?
Our policy dictates that you will identify.
I believe I just did.
No, you did not.
I didn't. I didn't tell you that it's the issues that you have not responded back.
I can argue with you. If you want to articulate the issues that are for the betterment of the school district, please.
Sir, I just did. You're not responding to my email requests, and I'm going to bring up the public statute that states that.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bob Valenta. I also have several issues. Imperial, item 6G, and bathrooms.
Thank you. Mr. Martin, your first card.
Mr. Marvin Getz.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Atkins. Tonight I'm here to respond to Mrs. Dozier's comments regarding her article 513-16, a solution for the district's teachers. The Substitute Teachers Association welcomes the suggestion to use district personnel which means any secretary, paraprofessional, or any other employee, including members of the school board. Yes, we would like to see you all come out and take a class and see how difficult it is to become a substitute guest teacher. We would certainly, the classroom, I dropped up here, okay. The classroom to classroom is only for one day, as I understand. But an old gentleman many years ago told me that one day, anybody can handle one day of anything. But to do it for 180 days is a different story. And that's what our substitutes do for you. We believe that all personnel should be fully qualified and accredited by having met the Department of Education requirements of training. That report follows to Florida Statute number 2015-35, which basically says before a person can step into the classroom, that they have the minimal level of education, obviously, but more important, they must have an initial orientation and then be involved in a training program. Your own policy says identically the same on 5.09. Again, the training and the orientation must precede them in a classroom. I would hope that those who are willing to try this for a day, do not announce that they are coming. If a school board member is going to try it for a day, don't say you're coming. Just show up. Take a job. It could be any school. I'd like to see you do in the low-performing schools and the difficult schools in our county. Don't come with an entourage. Finally, I see a problem forthcoming, and that has to do with salary or pay. Would that person who leaves their paraprofessional job or secretarial job or administrative job be paid the substitute salary for that day, or would they continue with the salary that is in place? And finally, I would like to remind you that in 1999, our former superintendent, Dr. Harder.
Thank you, Mr. Getz. Your time's up, sir.
He did the same thing.
Melissa Giovanelli.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Atkins. I just want to say that there's an issue about the restrooms and bathrooms, and I think that actually starts at home. It's easily solved. It's already solved in Target. They have family restrooms. We can have just a generic bathroom, a his and her bathroom. It's simple. It doesn't need to be complicated, and we should be able to have that. I think that there has to be places for that, because Target has it, Publix has them. They have just a universal bathroom. I have been taking my daughter there since the very beginning, so I don't think it's that complicated to make sure that we have everybody covered. Secondly, I want to thank the board regarding the Bonita project and the termination of the contract. I think that was a good decision. I just hope that your motives are sincere. I think the building a green school is a great concept. I think building it on a contaminated property kind of defeats the purpose. It's kind of like I don't know, think about it. Contaminated property, a green school. One kind of contradicts the other. Seems kind of simple to me. And I know there's a lot of land in Bonita, so we just need to find the right place for our students, and I know that's there, because it was a beautiful piece of property, Imperial Parkway was, so I'm sad about that. Second, the Pledge of Allegiance, I think that needs to continue. I don't think it should stop, because it's respect to our country, and we need to keep that respect, because it's disrespectful if we don't do it. I understand that parents want to be involved in that, and if my daughter come and said to me that she didn't want to do that, that would be a different story. I actually had the conversation with her. I'm like, do you say the Pledge of Allegiance every day? And she said, yes. I said, make sure you do it every day. But kids are going to be kids, so we can't control that. They're going to be talking in the morning, and they're not going to maybe not say the Pledge of Allegiance. So I think teachers need to have discretion, and so I don't want to see kids that don't say the Pledge of Allegiance wind up at ALC. That's just kind of my thing. I think that that would be wrong. So, and that's important. But respect starts at home, but respect needs to be given also at the school, you know. And to get respect, you got to give it. So it works both ways for the students. And I think they'll get it someday, I hope, about respect. And second, I want to talk about the ALC Summit. I actually attended both days, and I loved it. I think it's a great concept. I think it's positive. I think that it will restorative justice, if it's done right, to start in the school system, and they don't have to get to ALC. So I think that it'll be great. And actually, ALC's media bathroom has a boys' and a girls' bathroom. One stall, and I think what's the problem? That already solves the problem of the bathroom issue. So I thought about that last week when I was attending that.
Thank you, Ms. Giovanelli. Your time's up, ma'am. Beverly Greenstein.
Good evening. Beverly Greenstein, Worthington Country Club. I'd like to ask, on the land on Imperial, why has it taken a month to get the seller's declaration? Did we not do our own inspection? When you buy property, usually it is the purchaser who does an inspection to have a complete itemized list of everything that's needed for the property, and then the seller has to make it right. If we start all over again, where do we go? There is limited land in Bonita Springs. Certainly, we have fought not to have the DRGR interrupted with housing and public domain. This is an important issue in terms of the school students and the water. And I ask that you please give it some thought as to how we can clean up that spot that is so advantageous for the students. Thank you.
Donna Stone.
School Board, Dr. Atkins. Again, I'm also Donna Stone from Bonita Springs from Worthington Country Club. Bev and I are on the External Affairs Committee at that location. Since 2013, we have been exceedingly involved in a group called the Bonita East Stakeholders. One of their main concerns is to protect the water for the entire city of Bonita Springs. All of the DRGR is up in our end of town. It is the only source of water for Bonita Springs, so we are adamantly trying to protect it. Right now it is zoned 1 house per 10 acres, and we are not going to have that changed anytime soon. One of your locations, in fact, I think it was 10 of your locations, were in the DRGR, so those have all been eliminated. One of the locations was on the corner of Bonita Beach Road and Bonita Grande. The Army Corps of Engineers would have to be involved with that because of the water issues with the Kiel Canal and the Imperial River. So your choices were very limited as far as appropriate locations. Now there's the threat that there is a diesel contamination. That is not something that cannot be rectified. I mean, it can easily be rectified. My husband was in construction for 40 years, and he built many, many, many convenience stores that had the type of gas stations attached to it. If there was an oil spill or a gas spill, you cordoned off the area, you dug out the dirt that was involved until you got clear parameters. That soil was then taken to a safe location that is directed by the EPA, and that soil is burnt. And all the contaminants are burnt out of it because petroleum burns. Then that soil is then safe. Do you want it in your playground? Probably not, but it is a safe type of soil. But the main thing is that your school land now has been removed of the contaminant. You had an expert here at the night that you said that you were using the Bonita Imperial location. She testified that they tested that land for contaminants. Did they not test it for all contaminants, or did they just test it for asphalt? I'm a little curious about why a government agency didn't test for everything. And so, but please, go back to Imperial. That situation can easily be rectified. Thank you.
Charla Fox.
Good evening, Board. Charla Fox. I am a teacher in the system, and I just wanted to say a few words. I was listening this afternoon when Dr. Atkins, you were talking about our looking at our standards and really making them their own and developing our own. And I am so happy to hear some of this. One of the other things that I ask that we do at this point in time when you are doing that is looking at the assessing piece. In that assessing is good. We have to. I do it daily. Maybe not a test, maybe not a physical assessment, but I do it on a regular and ongoing basis. But when we do those last summative assessments, we need to look at how we're doing those. We're in the middle of those and finishing them up at the high school level right now, so I can truly address that level. When we are doing so many assessments at so many levels, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time out of our students' day. I have students that have had Algebra 2 assessment, U.S. History assessment, this assessment, that assessment, that are EOCs, that because they are taking that assessment for the 2 or 3 weeks before my class, because they were assessing in other tests, they can't be in my class getting ready for my test. And these are where our BAM scores and everything that are supposed to tell everybody how we are doing and what we are doing for our students are about. So we need to look at a really fair and equitable way. At the level I teach at, I almost think that if we would look at a national assessment such as ACT, SAT, that might be something that the state might be able to find as equitable, and having had national norms be something that might be something that we could work into the situation that they might be open to. I have heard of a few other districts that have been looking at that. So I thought that might be something. I know that I am looking at a number of different aspects, but we've got to find some way of keeping from having students out for all these other assessments and then being said, you have to assess in this when you've lost that time with them. Thank you. I appreciate it. Looks like my time is up.
Those are all the cards, Mr. Torber.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Ramey Hall.
Board members, I have had the opportunity to speak with at least all of you individually at least one time, and tonight I want to bring up a problem that's growing in our community that I think is going unnoticed, and that is homeless Lee County school students. The number this year is 1,313. I volunteer for an organization called Blankets and Blessings, and that was started by a Lee County public school student who just saw the homeless community and wanted to do something. That organization has done some great things locally over the last couple years. Through that organization, we formed a homeless task force where people from all different backgrounds have formed to try to address the problem of homelessness in Lee County. I would love to invite any of you to be a part of that task force. I think as school board members, it would be great to have one of you on our task force. But I think it's time to look at this problem. Going into summer, we have children. They're homeless. The only meals they get are the 2 meals they get in our schools. They will not get any meals during the summer. The city of Cape Coral has some new policies where homeless people cannot stay in Cape Coral. They're forced back over the bridge. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that. So this is just a major problem in Lee County, and I'm wondering if we partner with the right people, if it can't be looked at and addressed. I know 1,313 is a pretty overwhelming number, but I think if we break it down to schools and zones and so on and so forth, perhaps we couldn't start solving some of these problems. I know there's vacant buildings around town that could be turned into homeless shelters. I know churches, people in this task force that are very interested in seeing what we could do to give these people homes or at least temporary shelters. Just so you know, Lee County Public Housing has a long waiting list. You cannot get into that. Shelters do not take people at all. I've tried. I've been down there with families and tried to get families in. You cannot get into homeless shelters. There's a long wait list. So I think this is a problem I really want us to address. I understand this doesn't fall solely on the Lee County School District, but being that our students, that number is growing, and our students, I think it's something that we need to look at. I mean, even if you looked at the virtual school numbers, kids in virtual school are homeless. And I don't understand that. I don't understand how you're in virtual school and you're homeless. I don't know if they're doing the work in the car, but there's definitely, I'll email you guys all the statistics that I have, that I got from the state of Florida and our local homeless numbers. But I would just ask you guys, you know, if you're interested in joining our task force, I think that would be great. And I think this is something we need to partner with local people and see what we can do to help solve this problem for our students.
Anthony Thomas.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Atkins. My name's Anthony Thomas. I want to come here this evening to talk about the issue of diversity. You know, this school board has been very strong on the issue of diversity, but I think we can build on our record. And what I like to see is, right now you have a situation where the superintendent's going to be making some nominations towards the end of the year because you got a lot of principals retiring, stepping down for different reasons. I like to see the board really dig into your diversity issue when it comes to the level of principals and assistant principals. You know, we got 120 schools. I believe we got 13 high schools. Out of the 13 high schools, we only have Mr. Burnside as an African-American principal. But when you look at the numbers of the student population and you look at and compare that with the number of administrators, and Dr. Atkins, I have to give him credit, he's doing a good job. He started by making his number 2 person an African American. No one is here today to advocate the lowering of standards. No one is here today to advocate affirmative action. What I'm here today is to advocate equal access. Give us equal access to an opportunity to show that we can do the job. And when I say we, I don't just mean African Americans. I mean our Latino brothers and sisters, and I mean white women as well. I don't believe that, you know, President Clinton said in '92 that he wanted to have an administration that reflected America. And I think our school district should reflect the diversity of our community. And I think a goal that this administration and this board, and it really needs to be, and we got a great superintendent who's leading this, but you know, I try to tell people, I told Dr. Burke, when Dr. Burke said, Anthony, I support creating an African American and Latino advisory board several years ago. I don't advocate for stuff just because of a particular person is in office. I believe if it's a policy in place, it will sustain itself. So I want to renew my call, and Dr. Atkins was on my radio program some time ago, and he said he supported what Dr. Burke supported several years ago, which is the creation of an African American and a Latino advisory board that would give advice to this school board on issues of importance, diversity throughout the district. I'm not asking for anything that we're reinventing the wheel. The Lee County Commission has had these boards in existence since 1992. So I just asked the board to get with your superintendent. Mr. Chairman, you represent a great number of minorities. Let's make this happen. Thank you very much.
Mr. Fox.
Thank you, Board. I'd like to start by thanking Pam for my appointment to the Finance Advisory Committee the last 2 years. Appreciate that. The committee ends soon and I'll be leaving it. So I wanted to thank you specifically for sponsoring me on that. I think we did some good things the last 2 years, particularly last year with Will took over as the chair. He's an excellent chair. We helped along the raising of the limit that can be done from 25,000 to 50. And I'm very proud to say that I was able to support both the initiatives for both the naming rights and the digital advertising. So hopefully both of those will work out the way we hope they will. But I don't think they'll generate nearly enough money as to what this board thinks it will. Which leads me to the sales tax. In all seriousness, it has to be, the problem with Bonita is, of course, they found, somebody spilled some diesel fuel. But the real problem is the project is timeline is too short, and this board did not do a good job of planning insufficient on this high school or any other. As far as I can see, they're all kind of done, you know, wait to the last minute, and then hurry, and hopefully everything goes right. But if it doesn't, then it's a big problem, and then you have to scramble. And fortunately, we have a very good superintendent who's good at scrambling. But what this district needs to do is plan on building one school a year. That will relieve busing. That will give more options for school choice. It will take the load off of teachers. Putting a school at over 100%, as he was talking today, is a real burden on the teachers. You know, think about more kids in the classroom. That's more papers to grade, more things to do. It puts more on the teachers. You cannot do that. School really should run about 90%, really. So if you built one a year using the sales tax money, you could open a school a year with no debt. You won't pass the problems on to future, and that school will perform better, as will this district, if it stops borrowing money at the rate that it is. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Ms. Biesco.
Good evening. I just want to start off by saying that I had made a request from your Public Information Office for some very simple information, one being a particular procedure and another being a particular salary number for a former employee. In both cases, I didn't receive the information. I have sent copies of my requests to both your attorney and to Dr. Atkins, so it's no secret what I was asking. It's very simple stuff. This is not really, you know, heavy-duty material, and I'd like to know why I can't seem to get a copy of a procedure in this district, and if there is no procedure, at least be advised in writing that there is no such procedure. That's the first issue. The second issue involves something that, as a taxpayer and citizen, I'm very concerned about. In a deposition taken in the Ernie Scott case about 12 years ago, a board member at the time testified that she was taken to lunch by a wealthy businessman. Because he's now deceased, I can mention his name, the late Jack Eichenberg.
Dr. Piesco, please hold your comments. I have paused your time. I need to provide you a caution. I would ask you, could you please comply with school board policy by confining your remarks to matters relevant to the operation of the school district and avoiding any personal attacks on individuals. The time that you have remaining is 1 minute and 37 seconds. You may proceed.
Okay. In any case, the school board member stated in her deposition that she was told by this businessman whom to appoint as chairperson, and she...
Dr. Piesco, your comments are
I'm not naming
order.
anybody.
Please have a seat.
What are you afraid of?
There's nothing to be afraid of. Has nothing to do with the right.
Mary Orthodoxa.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Atkins. Keith Martin. First, I'd like to speak about Common Core and the high-stakes testing, something that we've discussed over 3 years now, and everybody agrees it's abusive, it's not benefiting our children. In fact, it's harming our children. So I have a question that I'd like to have answered tonight. I'd like to know why we hired a consultant who is from the Gates Foundation, an advocate of Common Core, and I'd like to know what salary we're paying this man. I'd also like to know what we're doing about testing. I know Dr. Atkins is having these little forums where we're talking about we're going to lower testing, but yet we're still testing an enormous amount of testing. The children are stressed out, the teachers are stressed out, and it's taking from classroom time. Excuse me. The bathroom issue, the governor has already come forward and said we will not honor transgender bathrooms, so that's not an issue any longer for our state. I challenge this board to show me where in the Constitution the federal government has any authority over schools. They don't have any authority. If you know your Constitution, you know they don't have authority. They only have authority when you give up your power. We elected you to do a job for our children. We need Common Core stopped. I know you're working on other standards, but when you bring an advocate from the Gates Foundation that goes across the country and promotes the Common Core and its standards and its testing, that tells the public that you're lying to us. You're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. And I'd like to know how much money we're paying this consultant when there is other places that you could have gone free of charge to help you write new standards for our district. Thank you. I'm not even going to talk about Imperial Gardens because you all know the truth. You all saw the documents that we presented to you. If you go forward, you're going to be held liable. You know there's a problem there. Yes, it was a nice location, but it is not the proper site for the school when it's a toxic waste dump.
Kevin Regal.
Good evening, everybody. I'll start with a reminder of Florida statutes 112.3187 through 112.31895, otherwise known as the Whistleblowers Act, of my protected rights and no retaliation by the school board, attorney, or other employers or employees for which I put this information forward. First of all, I have not heard any discussion, and I will be very respectful. I don't believe in names. I think I didn't hear from anybody, unless I'm mistaken. Was there any messages on file 1 and file 2 that I sent to you 2 weeks ago? I haven't heard anything back. I'm just wondering if I missed something, because there was some pretty big information in there, and I wanted to know how you were, since you're in receipt of it, and I know you're in receipt because I sent a certified set of emails and a letter to it, what action you're going to be taking there. Also next, when I was shut down a couple of board meetings ago, I wanted to quote Article 2, Section 8, subsections A and B for the reasons that I was able to bring up, and I'm not going to say names, but quit claims, people who were connected to doing that work. And the Part C, Article 2, Section 8, Part C, the breach of public trust for private gain. So when you shut me down, you violated those statutes, okay? Now, Section 112.311, subsection 1, a conflict of interest may exist. I always bring that up, okay? Now, subsection Part A under 112.312, the definition of the word corruptly. I know Mr. Martin and Mr. Teuber, you understand that word. Now, in the past, I've brought up a couple of incidences with email and board members, and Mary Fisher, I talked to you about this, and I said, if it is a conflict of interest for me to be talking to you about the Stephen Preston file, I understand. Ms. LaRiviere said that I need to go to you. That is why I went to you. I hope you understand that, okay? And I know we stopped emailing, but it wasn't me that stopped emailing. So I'm wondering now, who comes to me? I'm asking all these questions, and nobody's coming to me with any answers. So, you know, Mr. Teuber, how hard would it be for you to send an email as board chair? Right? Or pick up the phone. Now, I want to talk about a couple of other things. When we talked about a public official may not have voting conflicts, you understand where I'm coming from. These statutes here are things I have to put forward because the business and operation needs to run a certain way. My 3 minutes are up, but I'll go ahead and continue at the next meeting. I'd like to hear from somebody. Thank you very much.
Mr. Valenta.
It was reassuring to hear the news reports of the death of the Imperial property as an option to teach our students. It was short-lived, though, as Mr. Teuber has stated publicly that we may renegotiate a contract on this property. This will not be happening. Let's just be clear on that point right here and now. I have to believe that we can find plenty of property in the Bonita area to put a school, and we don't need 77 acres to do it. Fort Myers High sits on 30 acres. South sits on 38 acres. Cape Coral High sits on 39 acres. This is roughly twice the acreage that's needed. So grab your notebook and sharpen your pencils, that is if we used pencil and paper, and get back to the drawing board. Now, on to item 6G, approval of renaming the Alternative Learning Center Central to the Success Academy. It says the budget for the new Success Academy will include instructional and support staff as well as other support services. The total budget for fiscal year 2017 is $2.6 million. $2.6 million to change the name of one school is ludicrous. Obviously, this school already has staff and a budget. Nowhere do you discuss how much of the $2.6 million replaces the existing budget for ALC. This is what's called fuzzy math, or Clinton math for those who remember. You cite 3 focus areas. Number 1, inspire students to think and learn. How does changing the name inspire students to think? Number 2, engage families and leverage community partnerships. How does changing the name engage families? And number 3, ensure a safe and healthy environment for all. How does changing the name ensure safety or health? Congratulations. You have achieved none of your goals here, but you're spending $2.6 million to achieve none of your goals. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. But maybe if we allow young boys into our young girls' bathrooms and locker rooms, the morality of our students will somehow be raised and we won't need an ALC. Which brings me to my final point. Stand up for our children now, or stand down. Stand up or stand down. It's just that simple. Tell the Obama administration tonight that we will not be subjecting our children to his child abuse scandal. Or if you can't do that, then resign and let someone else do it tonight. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. This board has the authority and responsibility to protect our children, not just the less than 1% of trans whatever, but all of our students. And we are not going to stand by and let less than 1% dictate that our morals are too high for them so that we must lower ours. If I offend someone, too bad. It's not my responsibility to protect anyone's feelings. It's my job to protect my daughter, and protect her I will. We know from the past that this current board has no backbone to take on the federal government when it overreaches. Let the silence of these board members tonight serve notice and proof to the public what sort of public servants it has hired. It's time to
Mr.
do
Valente,
better.
your time's up, sir.
I'm going to leave the comments to address the Bonita property to Dr. Atkins in his comments. And I also ask him to address our new Success Academy. It's a great opportunity to explain to the public what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve. Matter of fact, if you'd like to do that now, address those 2 issues.
Yes, in terms of the Success Academy, if Mr. Valente wait a minute, I will talk a little bit about cost. In terms of a name change is not a $2.6 million expenditure. We're talking about the expenditure to operate a school, of which now is ALC Central. Actually, I asked Dr. Bohatch recently to give me a cost analysis of the closing of ALC West and the opening of the Success Academy. So in combination of all efforts, you're closing down the facility in the West, and then the staff there are being distributed. some of them have taken positions with the Success Academy, others are going to take open positions within the district. I was looking for the email so I could give him a more accurate figure, but there should be a cost savings of approximately $2.2 million. Again, don't quote me, but I will be happy to provide the actual dollar amount. And the reason is because we're closing one facility and going with only a single facility. So again, overall, we should realize as a district a significant savings. I also think in terms of specific to those goals, right now I will tell you that, and this is my opinion, but I think if you look at the data, it will support my opinion, and that is that the current configuration simply does not work. So what happens is we are expending a lot of money, and we're getting virtually no return on investment. It is in essence right now and I have to say that I think the folks that work in these positions are trying to do a good job, so this has nothing to do with what they're trying to do, but they're within a system that's simply not working, because you take kids that get into trouble, you send them to the Alternative Learning Center for a 45-day period, and you do not really address why they're there in the first place. So then the 45 days is up, they come back. We've got a high recidivism rate. Our out-of-school suspension rate continues to be high because we're also not addressing that problem there at the school. So in essence, what we're trying to do with the Success Academy moving forward is that instead of a 45-day stint, it's at minimum a 90-day stint, and then it can go up to 180 days. So during that period of time, the actual root cause of what put that student there gets to be addressed. And the type of students that wind up there, the type of issues that we're dealing with are the more difficult, challenging issues. Right now, the Alternative Learning Center is a catch-all. Drugs, weapons, crime go right hand in hand with kids that are there for disruptive behavior, insubordination, failure to show discipline. It just doesn't make any sense that you put all of that stuff together and try to serve a group of students with a one-size-fits-all model. So instead, we're working with schools to put programs into schools that will help address some of the less severe problems in the school building, and trying to take the more severe challenges and put more resources to those challenges, such as, whether it's social workers, health care, drug and alcohol, counseling, those type of things that you will find in that school. So when a student returns after a whole year back to their home school, the opportunities for success at that particular school are greater. That's simply not the case now. And if there becomes a concern about, well, what about the kids that are going there now, that now you're trying to do something at the school, we have had schools, including one where I was principal, been there, done that, did it well, and student achievement went up, attendance went up, teacher morale went up, parents were happy with the program, and the recidivism in the program was dramatically reduced. We can do this across this district, and we can do it saving a significant amount of money, because if you think about it, it's simple. The facility is the same. We're not doing anything to the facility. I know that Marty's going to work to spruce it up and make it, a really nice-looking facility. However, you've got staff that are currently working at the ALC West site. That is a cost, significant cost, for a very small number of students. It's under 100, I believe, right now. And so we're spending, more than a couple $1 million out at that facility for a small number of students. It simply doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't work. So therefore, close it, focus better on the central facility, and we will have better results. So hopefully that provided an explanation, but it's not a $2.6 million cost to change a name.
Thank you, Dr. Atkins. And just to add, the Success Academy is a different paradigm that we've had. The ALCs were the end of the road. You had these children, these students that were put there because they couldn't function well in the current environment they were in. This academy now is addressing, as Dr. Atkins said, why are they there, what's the problem as far as the behavioral issues, and give them a reset button. And in turn of that, mandatory in the Success Academy is enrollment into the ROTC program to give them focus and structure. Our ROTC program is the largest in the country, and we've had demonstrated success in every one of our schools. So much so in our high schools now that we've got now middle schools starting JROTC programs. The impact to those students as far as the structure and the discipline is unbelievable, and the accountability. We're going to try to impress upon that in our Success Academies to add. So it's a completely different way to approach these students because they're crying out for help, and we have to give them the necessary resources to become successful. So thank you, Dr. Atkins. Will you quickly and briefly address the issue of the Imperial site?
Okay, I will certainly address that, and I heard brief, so I will be brief. First of all, we are back to the drawing board in terms of examining every option, including, I will tell you that I had Mark Moore and I had a discussion about even looking at the possibility of getting innovative and looking at smaller parcels of property. One of the things that has been quite the norm down here in Florida in general is to build on 50-acre plus sites, include football stadiums and all that. That's what you find typical, but Mr. Valente is correct that we have a number of sites that are on smaller locations. So we wanted to build the dream on the large Imperial site, but with that contract falling through, I think we have to examine all options again. So I did talk briefly at the briefing today about some of those options. That'll be out there. I won't go through that again, except to say that we are back and looking at that really everything on the table. Yes, the Imperial site is a site that I think that not just the diesel, but there's other issues there that would have to be addressed. That was also part of the due diligence, but the last piece was that fuel that did not come out earlier in any of the documentation and was discovered, and therefore that led to really an extension that we needed anyway because we were waiting on some documents from DEP, et cetera. So, like I said, I did address most of this in the briefing, so that will be posted out there and you can see it there. If there's anything else specifically you want me to touch on?
No, and I just one thing, Dr. Atkins also addressed in the briefing, we do have alternatives. We will have seats, the forecast as far as the east zone and the south zone, as far as how many seats we need. We have plans. We have, not just plan B, but plan C and D. We have ways to have, our students will have seats for the 17-18 year. We also are still committed to the city of Bonita to have a school down in the south. So those are all things we're trying to work with. This board will work diligently. Our staff will present us with a bunch of different alternatives, and we'll go through the process. So it's something that was unforeseen. It was something that happens. We'll deal with it and move on. At this point, I'm going to move to the approval of the items under the agenda under consent. I'll request now if we have any polls. Ms. Fisher, do you have any polls today?
No polls.
Ms. Dozier?
I have none, thank you.
Ms. Morgan?
I have none.
And Ms. LaRiviere?
None.
And I have none. At this point, is there a motion to approve the agenda consent action with no exceptions?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Dozier, seconded by Ms. LaRiviere. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. At this point, Dr. Atkins, would you please introduce the administrators that have their new assignments?
I will in a minute, because we actually have that under good cause.
Oh, we didn't have any? I thought there was. Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. No, you're right. I forgot that stuff too. At this point, we will now move to our good cause item. Dr. Atkins.
Okay, I recommend board approval of the following administrative transfer. Jeffrey Dobbins from Curriculum and Staff Development Elementary to Fort Myers Beach Elementary, effective July 1st, 2016. And Brian Mangan, Cape Coral Technical College Principal to Fort Myers Technical College Senior Director, Technical Centers, effective July 1st, 2016.
Board members, you've heard their motion. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Fisher, second by Ms. Dozier. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Atkins.
And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Jeff Dobbins, who will be taking the helm at Fort Myers Beach Elementary in July. And also Brian Mangan, who will be, again, Fort Myers Technical College Senior Director.
Thank you, Dr. Atkins. Can you continue with your recommendations?
Sure. The next recommendation is I recommend board approval of the utilization of funds not to exceed $1,750,000 from the district's health care fund for the purpose of funding the wellness incentive program and additional wellness classes in FY17, and authorization for the superintendent to execute related documents.
Board members, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Moved by Ms. LaRiviere, second by Ms. Fisher. Any discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Atkins.
Next item is I recommend board approval of the annual expenditures to Johns Eastern Company, Inc. to provide claims administrative services to the school district of Lee County for the period of July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, at an annual service fee of $630,428.
Board members, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Ms. Dozier, second by Ms. LaRiviere. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Atkins.
Next, I recommend board approval of the agreement for Florida Virtual School to continue offering students in grades 6 through 12 full-time and part-time virtual education opportunities. The total funds expended will not exceed $600,000 and will be funded from FTE generated by virtual school students. The agreement is effective July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, unless terminated by either party, as outlined in this agreement. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute related documents.
Board members, you heard the motion. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Morgan, seconded by Ms. Dozier. Any discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Atkins.
I recommend board approval to renew the bid for the purchase of cafeteria kitchenwares and equipment with Business Services, Calico Industries of Florida LLC, Commercial Glass and Restaurant Supplies, Inc., Johnson, Lancaster and Associates, Inc., and SRE Culinary Equipment and Supply LLC for the final renewal period of June 3rd, 2016 through June 2nd, 2017 at the estimated expenditures of $1,400,000 pursuant to the same terms and conditions as previously approved by the board. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all related documents.
Board members, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Ms. Dozier, seconded by Ms. LaRiviere. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Atkins.
Next, I recommend board approval to piggyback Florida Department of Education bid to purchase 37 school buses awarded to multiple vendors for a period of May 17, 2016 through June 30, 2017 for the one-time expenditure not to exceed $3,837,630 with an option to cancel deemed to be in the best interest of the district. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all related documents.
Members, you heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Fisher, seconded by Ms. Morgan. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Atkins.
I recommend board approval to change the name of location 0552 from Alternative Learning Center Central to Success Academy effective for the 2016-2017 school year with a total cost of personnel and operating expenditures in the amount of $2.6 million.
Board members, you heard the superintendent's recommendations. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Fisher, seconded by Ms. Dozier. Any discussion? Ms. LaRiviere? No? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Atkins, your last recommendation.
I recommend board approval of the implementation agreement with Avid Center, which includes annual site membership, training resources, curriculum, and educators' professional development for 18 schools and 1 district director in the amount of $752,165 for the period of July 1st, 2016 to June 30, 2017. Approval authorizes the superintendent to execute all related documents.
You heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
By Ms. Morgan, seconded by Ms. Dozier. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We'll now move to the Board Attorney's recommendations. Mr. Martin.
Yes, Mr. Tober, board members have one recommendation this evening. Florida statute requires the school board appoint a citizen member to serve on the County Value Adjustment Board. In preparation for the Value Adjustment Board organizational meeting, county has requested the school board confirm its citizen member appointment for the coming year. Mr. Charles Gudekunst has served in this capacity in the past, and we have confirmed that he wishes to continue. And therefore, this evening, I recommend board approval of the appointment of Charles Gudekunst as the citizen member representative to the Value Adjustment Board.
Board members, you heard the attorney's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Dozier, seconded by Ms. LaRiviere. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. At this point, that ends all of our recommendations. We have no public hearings. We'll now move on to board member comments. We'll start with you, Ms. LaRiviere.
Okay, I want to thank those of you who did complete the public comment cards. I really do appreciate that, because then it takes care of the topic and everything, so makes it easier to go back for minutes and record keeping. It also shows a respect for the protocol, policy, and process, and the other speakers who follow that. So thank you. It really does help us out a great deal. I've made some different notes of things to share, and I have a question. And it would go back to what you brought up, Ms. Hall, and that has to do with the meals during the summer. For the last 2 summers, I know that we as a district have assisted with the providing safe places for students and families to go to for breakfast and lunch. Will that still be occurring this summer?
I believe it is. I'm looking out at, okay, Dr. Desamores, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that will still be available to those who need it, along with, and then I believe there are other organizations that are providing that same services so that it's within walking distance for most people. And I also appreciate your bringing up the fact of homelessness. Many people do not realize just how many students that we actually serve with homelessness, and what a big issue it is. And we have several people in our staff, social workers and others, who are focused on serving that population and doing all that we can to meet the needs of those children, their families, and working with agencies to try to assist them as well. So we really appreciate those in the private sector and faith-based organizations and community organizations who are assisting us with that as well. So I appreciate your bringing that forward, and we do need to make it ever clear and important for everyone to see. Let's see, Mr. Fox, just letting you know, if you want to serve on a committee, you can still apply for membership. So putting that out there, all applications for anyone, if they want to serve on any of our committees, be sure that you do complete those applications online so that you can participate. Appreciation to Trafalgar Elementary, and I really loved their last song about everyday heroes, as especially important when I think about tomorrow, where our law enforcement officers are going to be taking time to have a memorial service for fallen officers tomorrow morning. So if you are wanting to come out and participate and be part of that, I encourage you, if you're available tomorrow. It starts at 9, but I understand, and I learned from last year, get there early if you want to be able to get within walking distance.
Where it is.
Oh, and it will be, thank you. It's going to, important part to know where to go. It's at Centennial Park, downtown Fort Myers. And with regard to the assessment issue, those assessments are being redeveloped and beginning for the upcoming school year. So there will be many changes and that are being put forth that include both teacher and community member input. So our teaching and learning staff are working diligently to get all those components in place. And that's all I have for now.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Morgan.
This afternoon, Ms. La Riviere made a nice comment to staff about all the work that was done on the high school LLL recommendation, and she didn't repeat it, so I am going to repeat it, that staff has worked for well over a year to come up with a suitable site. Since January, when this one property came on the market, they have worked diligently to bring this thing to a successful conclusion. That didn't happen. I want to thank them for their work, and I also want to stress to the public that board policy and district procedure delivered an outcome that, while not one that we find particularly satisfying, is one that was transparent, responsible, and reflective of the quality of work and use of best practices by people throughout this district. And I simply want to stress that, although the outcome is not what we hoped, I think the process the way it was done validates the quality of work being done in this district, and I can't stress that enough, and I can't thank staff enough. And I look forward to hearing their recommendations as we move forward. And Mr. Fox, she stole my thunder, but I will say that I hope you do apply again to be on Finance Advisory, even though I won't be able to be the board liaison. I think you've done some great work, and I appreciate it. Those are my comments.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Ms. Dozier.
Yes, thank you. Accolades to the Trafalgar Choir that sang tonight. What a great job they did. Also, congratulations to the South Fort Myers Hosher Group for the awards that they won, and congratulations to all the subject area teachers for I think being noticed by your peers, and speaks very highly that your peers think that you are an outstanding teacher. So congratulations for that recognition. Dr. Atkins, I'm going to ask if you will talk about the consultant. It was a comment made about a consultant that we have from the Gates Foundation. Also, Ms. Hall is not, yes, you are here. I know CCMI does some, they usually have buses that they take out into the different communities. And one of the things that we've done in the past, and I hope we will do it this year as well, Dr. Atkins, is we have provided students with the locations of where that will take place, where those, I don't want to say, they're like buses that go
Right.
out and they have food so that students can have food. And I mean, I would be more than happy to serve on a task force because this is something already that is near and dear to my heart, because I've worked very closely with CCMI for many years now, and I've also gone out to schools and packed backpacks in some of the schools that we started doing like maybe 8 or 10 years ago, because, you know, it is a situation that there are kids that don't get meals. I don't know if you're aware, but we now actually have some schools that send backpacks home on the weekend, and the backpacks don't have books in them, but the backpacks have food in them, because without those backpacks, the students wouldn't have food over the weekend. So, and we can talk about that later if you'd like to. Also, I don't see Mr. Getz. I've been looking everywhere for him, and I guess he's already gone. So I'm going to save my comments, but I am going to say that I'm in that op-ed that was in the paper. It actually said that all of us from the district that signed up to do the subbing, we would meet the minimum requirements. So I don't want anyone out there to think that we're just going to send anybody and everybody. And he said secretaries, paras, and that's not exactly what it was. But instead, it was people that are certified down here at the central office, and board members as well. In fact, I know some of the board members have already signed up. And so I don't want anybody to think that we're just sending anybody and that breathes out to a school to substitute, because we want highly qualified teachers there to replace the, we want the guest teachers to be as highly qualified as the regular teacher, and we certainly make sure of that before anybody goes out into the school. So with that, Mr. Toiber, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Ms. Dozier. Ms. Fisher.
Okay, I won't be redundant, but I really enjoyed the student performance, and I do congratulate all of the people who were recognized this evening, students and staff alike. I want to congratulate Brian and Jeff on their new appointments, and Jeff, I've got my walking shoes ready. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Drug-Free Coalition. We are having a run for prevention on October 1st, 2016. I shared with Dr. Atkins the other day a challenge from the coalition for the district to participate in teams for the run. The money raised with this run supports many prevention activities that the coalition has been providing in this community. Drug House Odyssey, which is attended usually by 2,000 kids every year and has been, it's in its 23rd year. The Red Ribbon Week celebrations, peer youth groups, which help to drug-proof kids through the use of evidence-based programs, National Recovery Month, a community needs assessment to make prevention as efficient as possible and to avoid duplicating services, Operation Medicine Cabinet, Lee County, when they take the prescriptions that are not being used and dispose of them safely, Lunch and Learn educational programs providing addiction and prevention information, and many resources for families. So I will challenge not only our Lee County Schools staff people to sign up for the run, but also the listening audience. It will be taking place at Centennial Park, October 1st, 2016. And you can go to the Drug Free Coalition website for more information. Mr. Fox, thank you once again for bringing us back to talking about a possible half-penny sales tax in the future because of the condition of our capital budget, which is, of course, not even a third of what it was in 2007, and our continuing growing population. Ramey, I didn't know that homeless people weren't allowed in Cape Coral. I'm going to look into that. But I do know that Cape Christian Fellowship and the Cape Caring Center do have programs, and they do provide food to homeless people now and during the summer. So, and I would be happy to serve on your task force also. I want to thank staff for all of their hard work in all of the initiatives that are happening right now in this district, and have a good night and safe home. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. We'll now go to our student representative, Ms. Jean Joseph.
Okay,
That's what I forgot to say.
I want to say thank you for allowing me to have this experience to be able to witness a board meeting. It was influential. I feel like it was very important in touching that the board members did touch on what the district is doing for homeless people, and hearing about that we're going to have redevelop the assessments for the upcoming school year is very beneficial to hear, because I hear a lot of compliments, I mean not compliments, but complaints from teachers and students, so to hear that is beneficial. Yet again, thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Toiber, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I just
Ms.
wanted
Fisher.
to thank Kimberly Joseph for coming to be with us tonight, and also to thank her for her work on our committee all during this year. Thank you.
And I'd just like to add, at the briefing meeting, I spoke about Franklin Park. That was, they had career day, and they do a great job with the community and show the children their focus. What I forgot to mention at the briefing meeting was the great students from South Fort Myers High. As I was leaving, I saw an entourage of South Fort Myers High School students, and I asked them, I said, what are you guys doing here? And they said, oh, we're mentors, and we come every month and we help our kids, and they just happened to call us and said, would we just come in and help and help these kids go through the career day, and they said sure, and it's just a great testament of our high school students, what they're doing, willing to give back to these little to the youngsters there in the elementary school, and the effect that they have to the time that they spend to these students is just a wonderful thing. So I just wanted to add that. Dr. Atkins, or actually first, Mr. Martin, is there anything you'd like to add?
None this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Dr. Atkins.
Okay, the first item that I want to address is the information came up about, and I'm sorry, I was looking for another item. I've got like 3 emails going here. The first item relates to Ms. Piasco's request for a public record. As I understand it, that request was complied with a couple months ago, and by our communications director. Just to explain how this works, when we have to provide a public record, it is an existing public record, and so it's not the creation of some document or to answer a question. It is the providing of a public document that's relevant to the request. So that's what we feel we've done in this case. Now, having said that, I think I indicated to this board, and let me get specific because I found the email that I was trying to look for. The procedure for setting the salary of teachers during the time frame 97 to 99 was included in the TALC agreement, and that was provided on March 9th. The TALC agreement is the public record that exists for that request. She was provided the PAF that indicated the salary and job title, and that is the PAF is the public record that exists for that particular request. So having said that, as we understand it, that is what we're required to do under the law. Now, we have asked for a third independent party. That's what I was looking for, to try to find that gentleman's credentials, to review our procedures and make recommendations. So if we're not doing enough, if we're not doing it timely, I'm sure that will be the recommendation that comes out of that. And again, if we wanted to go outside and have somebody independent from us make that recommendation, and we do expect that recommendation to come forward in June. And like I said, I will certainly bring that forward and let everybody know what that recommendation will be from that particular person. The cost comparison, Success Academy. See if I can come up with this real quick. I don't. It looks like 1.5, but I could be wrong on that because I thought he said 2.1, but I'll provide that information. Oh, no, I'm sorry, here it is, $2,251,271, or $279 according to Dr. Bohatch, and we'll get that breakdown to the board very soon. The last item that I want to address in terms of the consultant, Kevin Baird, regarding the Gates Foundation, I don't know. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the Gates Foundation has a huge footprint, pays for a lot of stuff. Not a big fan for that reason because it's very influential on a lot of public policy from some folks that aren't educators, but that's my personal opinion. I believe that. Oh, thank you. I believe that when it relates to the, his credentials, it relates to the Common Core. I think that, again, like I said earlier in the briefing today, a lot of people that were considered experts were involved in some of that stuff, or in all that stuff, and, in terms of how those were implemented, how that is implemented in districts, I'm sure he provided support for that, but he also provided a lot of support for districts that are trying to move in a different direction. I mentioned Gwinnett County, Georgia, who has their, it's AKS is what their curriculum standards are known as. The acronym escapes me, but as I mentioned to you before, this is a nationally recognized school district for excellence in urban education, recognized by the Broad Foundation. So that is, part of that work. We as I mentioned before, have made the commitment to starting at the ground level and building up and involving our community, which that effort starts June 3rd, I think is the first meeting, and Ms. Ralph will get information out there relevant to that. In terms of information, in terms of costs, et cetera, that is something that we can certainly provide. That's a part of the public record. So the last thing is that I know that Mr. Martin provided me.
I can read that if you'd like. If you want to, go ahead.
Okay. He's got information about that person's qualifications I mentioned earlier.
The gentleman that Dr. Atkins referred to performing the review of the school district's practices with respect to public records is Attorney John Caney. And Mr. Caney provided this information concerning his qualifications. For approximately 28 years, he has served as a member of the Board of Trustees and as general counsel to Florida's First Amendment Foundation. In private practice, he has represented daily and weekly newspapers and television stations, including the Daytona Beach News Journal, the Orlando Sentinel, the South Florida Sun Sentinel, and WFTV in Orlando, in matters involving the First Amendment and open government. In addition, he has represented private citizens and occasionally public bodies in cases in this area. At this time, he serves as counsel to the Board of Trustees of the Daytona State College. He has frequently appeared in cases involving the right of public access to records and meetings of government as counsel for the First Amendment Foundation, the Florida Press Association, the Florida Society of Newspaper Editors, the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press, and the Student Press Law Center. In 2011, the First Amendment Foundation awarded him the James C. Atkins Sunshine Litigation Award, recognizing a significant contribution to the cause of furthering open government through litigation. The award recognized his leadership in the Vert Fish Foundation versus Southeast Volusia Hospital case. In addition to litigation, he has been deeply involved in policy studies of the issues of open government and privacy arising from internet access to public records. In 2002, he was appointed by the governor to and served as vice chair of the Study Committee on Public Records, a committee created by the Florida legislature to examine the effects of advanced technology on privacy and access to court records and official records. In 2003, he was appointed by the Chief Justice of Florida to serve on Supreme Court Committee on Privacy and Court Records and to continue study of this issue as it applies to the judiciary. He also chaired the subcommittee that drafted a rule addressing governing public access to court records, which has been adopted by the court. That's a summary of his qualifications.
And then just to, and thank you, Mr. Martin, for that. I appreciate that. Just going back to the Mr. Baird issue, I have talked to him personally. He's well aware of our feelings in terms of what we want to accomplish with the district, and I think that that is a goal that he wholeheartedly supports. He is also aware of the flaws of Common Core, and if for example, if you look at what Dr. Milgram has, he was on the evaluation committee that looked at the Common Core, and he has written several papers regarding what he saw as shortcomings of that, of which I have read, and it really does point to some of the areas that are lacking as it relates to, particularly in Algebra 2, which is Milgram is an expert in mathematics. He was the only mathematics expert on that committee. He did not sign off on the Common Core standards because he didn't feel that they truly were world class, and part of it was that algebra preparedness is something that's essential for college readiness, and he didn't feel that the standards were rigorous enough as it relates to Algebra 2. But there are many others in terms of preparation for calculus, et cetera. So Mr. Baird has also offered to run these standards by both Dr. Stotsky and Dr. Milgram, both of which served on that committee and did not sign off. I think there were 36 members of that committee, and 5 of them refused to sign off, including those two, Stotsky and Milgram. And in the effort to be transparent, they are also folks that we are willing to provide our work to. Finally, I want to say that I know that it's been suggested that we borrow somebody else's standards, but somebody else's standards aren't Lee County standards. And we have local business, we have people in the community that are looking for things from our graduates. I've heard from our business leaders, and they are wanting to be a part of this effort. And also we hear from our parents as well in terms of what they're expecting out of us, and we want them to be a part of the process. So that concludes my comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Atkins. Our next scheduled meeting of the board is on Tuesday, June 14th. There's a special board meeting at 2 o'clock, immediately followed by a school board briefing, as well as a school board action meeting at 6 p.m. At this point, having no other business to come before this body, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Fisher,
Second.
second by Ms. LaRiviere. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. This meeting is adjourned.